It's 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 2 out in Hawaii, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning out in Indonesia, about 9 a.m. out in Australia. Welcome, everybody. My name is Tom Springer, and this is Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. If this is your first time here, welcome to the show. I am the host, Tom Springer, and I created Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book, and it kind of brings on all different ways of life. You saw the entry, you saw the opening. It kind of covers everything that anyone else would cover or would say is odd or weird or strange, but we know it to be pretty much normal. So I am bringing back someone I had on before, but she has been missed, and our family / audience has changed a bit, and not everyone has had the pleasure of experience who Holly Beshea is. So I am so happy that I get to bring on Holly, and I'm not even waiting. I'm just going to bring her on so everyone can say hi to her. Hi, Holly. How are you?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Good. People will be rolling in and saying hi like they always do. Hi, Rosie. Hello, Miss Laura. There's Nikki. She's popping in. So
hey, Nikki.
Hi, Kathy. How are you? So as everyone rolls in, I'll just kind of say hi and everything else. And so something I forgot to tell you in the beginning, because I was too busy rattling, was that, hi, Helen, was that if someone throws a question out or a statement that needs to be read, I will post it up there just like I am everyone's hellos right now. And I'll read it out, because that way a lot of people listen to us. They don't watch us because they're at work or cleaning house or whatever else. So they may not know what we're talking about. So I'll read the question out first so they know what the answer comes from. And you're just not talking into the middle of whatever. I'm like, what was that? What? That was so strange. So,
okay.
Stuart, how you doing, brother? So Stuart's out of Texas. He's a regular on here. A lot of these are regulars on here. So as you know, my family is on that side of you. Actually, you may not see them. I don't know.
I don't.
You may not. Let me see if I can go in and fix that really quick. Stand by 1 second, folks. I got to go fix something. But other than that, I can still see you, so we're good. Other than that, how are you? Welcome back to the show. And
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. If you could introduce yourself to everybody. Oh, I think that did it. There. Now you should be able to click on comments and see the comments. If you could introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, tell everybody what you do, and how long you've been doing it, what brought you into it.
Oh boy, where to start? I'm Holly Beshea. I am an energy intuitive. That's one of my definitions, I guess. I've been struggling for probably a decade on how to categorize who I am and what I do, and what my skills are and what my interests are, because they're so vast and so varied. And I got into this pretty much from the get-go. I do have pre-life memories. I do have past life memories, like before being in a physical body. So I have all that I came into this lifetime with. I saw you had the Ouija board in the intro, and that was something that I just knew how to do as a probably 5 or 6 year old.
Wow.
I was using a Ouija board and a pendulum, and I didn't have a pendulum. I just made a pendulum. I don't know how. I never saw it, but so I have been divining spirit since elementary school. Didn't learn that in the school book. And sensing my brother's energy, I would say, like, can you feel that, on your skin? Yeah, I can. And like we were, sensing essentially our energy centers. We didn't know what to call them back then. But so I've spent probably the last 7 years really delving into those topics, and just really, I'm here to be of service to other people and to help people, because I know, as I may have told you last time when I was on, at 18 months old, I awakened and I'm
Right.
looking in the mirror, there's something important that I need to remember. Staring at myself in the mirror and hearing what I know now to be my guides talking to me and telling me, coaching me on how to remember.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like it's just, I don't know, it's just been a whole long process.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Very
it's
fascinating.
yeah, and it's interesting because you went through. Hold on, let me see. I'm good at this game. Um, I gotta tap into the databanks last time we talked, which has been a while. You actually like have a lot of like degrees, certificates, blah blah blah, everything else, and you were still going, "Who am I?" type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I have a 30-year career as a speech pathologist. So
Oh,
I've been intuiting really, once I started thinking about it, I'm able to intuit what's going on in the mind of an adult or a kid and helping them to relearn to speak, or in a child's case, learn to put their ideas into words. So I've been, using my certification and degrees for that, but I am a Reiki master, and I'm also higher up a notch. I consider I'm an integrated energy therapy master and teacher. So that is like really tapping into the angelic realm and pulling out the karmic layers, the emotional, the mental layers from the body, from the aura. We're talking like past life stuff that you bring in that are karmic patterns and loops that you play over and over again. And that, just the other day, one of my really dear friends, we just realized like, hey, there's this pattern, this theme and fear of homelessness that has replayed for like no real reason, but it's just pattern, like this fear of it. And she finds herself on the verge of like, where am I going to live next? And going through this whole emotional trauma over that. And so I work to clear that and help people clear that out of their energy field so they can move on and get rid of those blocks that are preventing them from being their best and living their best life.
yeah. So Stuart is asking, do you have a physical location where you see clients, or is it all online?
I do. I work out of the Peace of Mind Center in Shreveport, and I do online. I can do integrated energy therapy sessions by distance.
Okay.
I don't do the Reiki much anymore because the integrated energy therapy is like massive.
Yeah.
There's it's a quantum scale.
Yeah.
Just very much different. Whereas Reiki is very helpful for the physical body and helping to ease some of the suffering that's going on in the body. But when you have emotional things and things that mindsets that are stuck and that just constantly replay and keep dragging you back into drama and situations in your life, bad relationships, poverty, having difficulty with money, those type of things can be released.
Could it be something that tied to past lives that you had to deal with before?
It is absolutely, absolutely. I'm pretty much hello. I'm pretty much convinced that the majority of people that are interested in the paranormal or realize that there's something beyond this physical reality, that they have probably, most likely, I don't know, it's kind of a guesstimate, but most of the people I see really resonate with the idea that there's something that has followed them and they don't understand why. And I
Right.
believe that we have brought those things on in our lives. That was one of my pre-life memories, was having a conversation with one of my family members from this lifetime and telling her, I don't want to go first. I didn't want to come down here, tell you the truth. But it was kind of something that we had agreed to do, and to bring our energy down as starseeds, because I'm into the starseed thing. And it's just a higher energy frequency that's, sometimes hard for other people to be around. So
Yeah.
we've had a conversation before.
Yep.
So I agreed to come down, and she said, well, you do realize you're going to take the majority of the karmic debt. And I said, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go first.
But yeah, Stuart says it's good because he's just a hop, skip, and jump away from you. He's just over somewhere in Texas, so he's not too far away.
Cool.
So
yeah.
Rosie popped in with our first squirrel moment. I warned you ahead of time. Squirrel moments are still happening. She said my son's car alarm went off for no reason, and my husband just came outside and asked if I rang the doorbell. Weird. And then she said, "Squirrel, sorry." So yeah, still happening. So he's Texarkana. So there you go, Texarkana.
I had somebody last week come from Dallas to see me. I was like, oh my God.
That's a trip. Yeah.
So honored. Come see me.
But it's good. And for those who don't know, you are the person who gave Nikki and me our Starseed readings. So and I'm telling you, people, these things are not like, you don't get like a one page and it says, yep, you're a Starseed. Nope, it's very much broken down. It is where your soul karmic connection, like your soul connection is, your karmic connections, your DNA connections, all these different parts that you have of different starseeds. And there's Nikki. The starseed readings are amazing. See, so the breakdown was fantastic because you don't just give you're a starseed. You explain what part of you is a starseed, what that starseed does or is.
Yeah.
And it really breaks
and what you're here to do with it.
Right. It breaks it down very easily. And it's weird because mine really resonated well with me when I read it. See? And then Kelly even said she had a starseed reading with you as well. Primal said she had a starseed reading with you as well. So
yeah. Hi, Kelly.
So if anyone's interested in that, that's also something that is online that you can go out and find you at.
I think so. Okay, let me explain it this way. So the starseed topic is not something that everybody understands. And so I was getting a lot of people who were, it's like, oh, I'm better than the Lyran DNA, the Lyran starseed family. I'm Orion and that kind of stuff. And it's like, and my guides had actually warned me about that, and to try and keep it real, for lack of a better word, so that people really understood the reason, the purpose that this information is helpful, because it does give you a real understanding of why you came here. This is like a bigger, a grander purpose. You may have, a role in your job, to help people or to whatever, family, etc. But on a big scale, there's a mission that people who have the starseed DNA, there's a big mission, a big reason why we're here. And that's to help in the Great Awakening, help people wake up and raise their level of consciousness and understanding.
Yeah, mine really identified my protection of light workers, like how I am a protector of light workers who are doing the work, but I'm also a light worker myself, so I kind of have to balance that act. Which was pretty interesting. Rosie wants to know, how do you get that information about star reading?
I look at the birth chart, and the whole starseed process for me gaining my knowledge was study of astrology, but also my higher guidance, my higher self, my spirit team that I've been in, connection with since I was a kid. Them explaining and just like taking the bits that I was piecing together with astrology and saying, well, here's how it works on a galactic level.
Yeah.
This is how the star seeds, this is part of your mission, and it's all shown in your natal birth chart. That like an astrologer would use, but astrologers aren't telling you this kind of stuff. So
no, not at all. And Rosie follows it up, which is a very fantastic question. I kind of already know the answer to this one, but she also asks, and would family be from the same place?
A lot of times, yes, but you would be surprised. There are, you'll see different elements because we're not just from one place. We have traveled. So let me explain a little bit how consciousness works. So it starts in the outer, like maybe even outside of this dimension. And then it has to, between being light or a sound wave or an angelic being, a light being, whatever we were prior, we can't just come down and be in a physical body. There is a translation to becoming comfortable with being physical. And so you have to acclimate yourself.
Yeah.
So you do go to different places. So like Lyra would be on the 9th, 8th, and 9th dimensional consciousness. And so you might go there. They have plasma bodies. So now you're a soul or a spirit in a not quite as dense as we are, but there is form to it.
Right.
And then you come down to another starseed location that's a little more dense, and then a little more dense, and we're about as dense as it gets. So,
in more ways than one.
Without being a rock.
Correct. Yeah, Joe. Hey, Joe, what's going on, brother? Owner of Hawaiian Hauntings, by the way, if anyone wants to know, go check him out. He says, I got a reading from her as well. Very awesome, I got to say. So,
yeah. Hey, Joe. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's pretty cool. So I know we weren't going to just talk Starseed tonight, but that's what popped in first. And I knew that was going to come up pretty rapidly. So that's why I went ahead and hit that first. But it's something that I mean, you do it in a relatively quick amount of time too. I mean, your process to get us this information isn't months. Like I think I got mine in like 3 or 4 days from you.
It was
relatively quick. And it is a lot of information. It's eerily accurate when you read it and you're like, oh, that's me. Wait, that's also me. Hold on a second. That's me. So, and you kind of put it together and you start seeing it and you're like, this is amazing. So there's Miss Zhang. Hi, Zhang.
So, have you had an astrology reading before?
I have, people have attempted to read my astrology chart to me. And I know I'm Pisces with the Leo rising and some other stuff, but as far as the breakdown of it goes.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So astrology readings are pretty accurate, and they tell you a lot about who you are. Yep. But to me, the starseed, like you see maybe you don't know what a natal chart looks like or an astrology chart, but you have this little circle with the little planets and it shows where the sun was when you were born and where the moon was, etc., in this little wheel. And so the starseed reading comes from outside of that wheel, outside of our solar system, because that's what that natal chart is, our solar system. So the starseed, these are stars that are in the constellations around us. And so the mythology that's within those star system or those constellations applies. There is an energy to that, just like there's an energy to Jupiter. this expansive energy, so you take a fixed star that has a specific energy, and when they align, that's what I'm looking for in a starseed reading. I'm looking for the fixed stars that align with your planets in your natal chart, because there is a direct infusion from outside of the solar system into Jupiter. And that gives energy to your Jupiter, which then is also infused, that Jupiter energy is infused within your physical. It's within the physical body, but it's really what I call the chakras.
Okay.
The energy of your chakras. And each one of those planets programs in the energy of your chakras. And that's how you experience the world. And that's how you interact with others. All of that is for your astrology.
I get to go nerdy for a second. Sorry, everyone else, but I'm about to go nerdy for a second. So I'm completely understanding the alignment with like the planets and everything else, but can they, in any chance, way, shape, or form, deal with also something around the planets, like their moons, like Jupiter's moons? Can they correlate with them at all, or anything else, or does it have to be a planet itself?
I don't know. I would think that it would have to be the planet itself. It's never, astrology is the oldest science. And so, like, just the astrology of our planets, all that information is so ancient, and I've never heard anything discussed about the moons.
Okay.
So I would say that the moons probably affect the planet just like our moon affects our planet.
Right.
So
yeah, I just didn't know, because there's a major change going on in one of Jupiter's moons right now. So I didn't know if that would affect how some things happen. For those who don't know.
And I believe that the planets are conscious beings as well, just like we are. They have their energies. Yeah. And so they are also being upgraded, and they're getting new infusions of energy from outside of our solar system.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering, do the moons affect any of it? Because one of the moons for Jupiter actually collapsed. It didn't do a full collapse, but there's a portion of it where part of it collapsed into a lower region into the moon that turned out there was water. So now it's actually building a carbon-based type of atmosphere, which is the first sign of life form, is this based off of carbon. So
maybe we'll live on Jupiter's moon one day.
Again, sorry about that. I'm nerding out, but that was something that I found out, that because of the break in that moon specifically, it starts to do the carbon-based creation from mixing whatever gas it was that hit the water to start forming the carbon-based. So that would, if that collapse happens and it affects the planet somehow, how does that affect what comes up next, for the next 100 years, 1,000 years of astrology readings?
Yeah. I guess we will find out in another lifetime.
Right.
Not in this one, I hope. I don't know. There's a lot of changes going on Earth too,
Right now there's all kinds of. Rosie says, I heard we reflect the planets when we were born.
Yeah, that's the astrology chart. You are a reflection of the energies that were present at the time of your birth. When you took your first breath, all that energy that comes into your body on that breath is what's present on the earth at that time. So, yeah.
Very cool.
It makes you who you are. It's your unique energy signature.
I'm reading comments as we're going, because Kathy's asking, where's the new moon been? I've looked and I can't see it. And Rosie said, it's just coming out of a new moon phase. So we
just had the new moon solar eclipse last Wednesday.
Yeah. That was pretty wild to have all that happening at once. So
did anybody have any crazy experiences? Or this is happening in the sign of Libra right now, so a lot of people are having relationship issues or like changes, not in a bad way. Like one of my friends, her boyfriend has like all of a sudden said, hey, you know, why don't we live together in Miami? So that's a change as
Yeah.
well. You know, it's a good change.
Yeah, it's I think that was a um type of reaction that I already don't sleep, so it caused me to sleep less, which was fantastic because I already don't sleep as it is. So that was a rough time for me right there. Um, so yeah, um,
Yeah, I haven't been able to sleep well either.
yeah. Stuart's asking to take it one step deeper, so to speak. Could it affect the egg when it's seeded?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a whole study called Human Design that takes astrology and like so many like I Ching from China and all sorts of different predictive sciences, what I would call predictive sciences. And but the remarkable thing about Human Design is it not only tells you who you are in this, you know, physical form now, but it also can tell you what your I can't remember what it's called, what your energy was at the time of conception. So it goes 9 months back. So yeah.
Wow.
You know, and we are a product of our parents at the time that we were conceived. So you know, I work with a lot of drug babies, you know, and the parents are obviously not druggies now, but their
Right.
kids are impacted because
Yeah.
of the condition of their DNA and who they were at the time of conception. So,
Yeah. Sylvie says, I haven't had any changes yet, but I've been having very vivid dreams and messages sent from my spirit guides.
yeah, it's a real, it all depends on where this energy is happening in your natal chart. To, you know, that speaks to where you would experience this in your daily life. So that could be like maybe the 9th house, which would be, you know, maybe spiritual connection, the 12th house as well. So
I'm kind of shifting gears here because I'm going into another
shift
part
away.
of what you do. Your you also do chakra
Aura.
and aura energy readings. When you do the readings, do you just do the readings, or do you also do the corrections? Like if
Yeah. So, of course, being a therapist, you know, for a living, I'm always like very solution oriented. So I don't want to just tell you what your problems are, or I don't want to tell you what, you know, where your energy's off. I want to tell you, you know, give you some guidance on how to bring all the energies back to where you want them, to where you can have a productive and harmonious, balanced life. Um, so yeah, I have a device and it measures the energy coming off the tips of your fingers.
no,
So it's gas discharge visualization. So you probably have seen some pictures of like a leaf, and the leaf is blacked out, but you can see this energy coming off the ends. That's what this is,
okay,
but it's coming off of your body. So, and it compiles. I have a software that compiles and tells me the location of all the chakras, how big the energy is or how small the energy is. I also can see in the aura, there's an aura picture, and it shows if you have blockages. Like sometimes you will see a wall. It's just like this wall of energy that's blocking. It's like a dark shield, and that's what I call it, a shield. And
yeah,
it blocks energy from getting out. You can't radiate love to people, or you can't accept love from people if you have a shield of dark energy as a protective device.
yeah,
Yeah, so learning how to dissolve some of that. So I would definitely recommend for a person like that to, with the shield, to have a clearing with the integrated energy therapy, which I call archangel healing because it's just simpler. Archangel healing, and I use the archangels guidance to pull this energy out through the aura. We clear it, as I say, clear it across all time, space, dimensions, and realities, so that that doesn't have to be a block for you in experiencing love. Like, that's the best part of life. Sometimes it's as simple as telling people to ground more, being outside in nature, doing some breath work, getting more exercise, or sometimes, doing less. You need to relax and chill out a little bit. Some people are overdoers.
Yourself the other direction. So yeah, that's interesting.
And I do that intuitively. Like, I'm tuning into spirit, and sometimes the spirit guides of the client to get the information necessary to help guide them into harmony.
Yeah, I was. Hi, Crystal. Yeah, I was gonna ask about that because you said the way it works. So that has to be an in-person thing, I would assume then, because you have to be able to do the fingertips, like you said, in order to get the readings of that energy off of the.
Well, I am really wanting to experiment with people that I can do distance session and in person, just to kind of check and see if I can get the same read.
Okay.
Because if we can do distance Reiki and distance angel healing sessions, like, maybe there's a way to do that. I would really love that, because I think that can help a whole lot of people.
Yeah, because I push energy and I push healing all over the place, all over the world when people need it. So I can do that. But it would be interesting to see if you can do something like that.
To heal yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, to help clear and heal. Because that would be interesting. Because, people know that I am willing to talk on the show about myself. And I am one of those that if you use that on me, you would see those blockages. Because I have had shields up so much just in my general life that you would see wall after wall after wall after wall. You'd be like, Jesus, what did you go through? And I'm okay sharing that with the audience, with my family. I don't care, because they know about it. But it would be interesting to see, and that's why I was asking, is it something you have to be in person for? So it'd be interesting to see if you could do something like that. And look at me over here in Omaha, Nebraska, compared to where you're at, long distance. But we couldn't have a control, though, of me being there and then being here to see if you're getting the same things. That's the problem with that. So.
Well, yeah. And two, I've also considered traveling and doing sessions. So
we should
Omaha is, not out of the realm of possibility.
We should use Stuart, since he's just in Texarkana. And we'll just have him come to see you, and then we'll use him as our we'll call him a test subject, even though, we'll just, Stuart, climb on the bike, take the ride over, go see him. Yeah. When you have something on your page, and I just want to know what it is, because for me it sounds very like I'm excluded from this, and I should be excluded from this. But you have something that's called goddess events. What's a goddess event?
Goddess rising. So it's something that Spirit had really been putting on my heart, was connecting with other women to help them start stepping into their power, into being sovereign beings, and claiming their power.
Yeah.
So many people, so many women are in codependent relationships, or they're unable to, or they put off their dreams for other people, for children, husband, spouse, whatever. And, when you get to 50, 60, 70, and you're like, okay, my life's changed. I don't have to do anything for anybody else anymore. What do I do now? and they need to really reconnect in with who they are, what their dreams were, what their passions were, in childhood even sometimes. And so we work on those type of things. We work on releasing. They're always held on a full moon. And so we are writing down the things that we need to release so that we can get past them and close the chapter on a book and set our new intentions for what we want to bring into our life. And doing a monthly helps us keep check on, progress we're making, and trying to make something monthly so people can get together and help one another, push them along. Because a lot of people are starting their spiritual businesses.
Right.
And they don't know what to do next. And okay, so I've taken a course. I've become a Reiki master. What do I do now?
Yeah, now what do I do? Yeah. And it also helps identify, because if they had that thought process of what they wanted to do in their 20s and 30s, whatever else, and they don't realize that their goals have shifted, because that was their goal then, but all of a sudden they're like, well, what's my goal now? And it's a place for them to set just basically with others and go, well, maybe that's not what I still want to do. Even though it's been in my mind the whole time, maybe that's not where I'm supposed to be going.
Yes. Well, and when people wake up and, when they have their awakening, if you know what I mean by that, they are moving away from the whole 3D mindset, materialistic mindset, victim consciousness, those type of thought processes. And now they're like, okay, who am I? What am I defined as? That's really a challenging time for women. Now, I don't want to exclude men. I'm not a man hater, but I just, in my area, in most areas of people I talk to, it's the women who we're more intuitive. And so we tend to sense these energies a little faster or a little sooner than men do. But I tell you, it's happening in the men as well.
It's and Nikki and I talk about this all the time, because you'll notice that most of the people that I have on here are female, because they're more more intuitive, whatever else. And I appreciate when I can get another man on here to talk, because it's a different side of it, but yet it's also a very similar side of it. Because I have all these different abilities too, and I'm running this show with it, but most everyone I talk to is women. And see, even Joe said, I was going to say, what about us men? Lots of shifts and changes here. True, absolutely. But you'll notice that, Joe, when we do that, we're not going to go find each other and go hang out in a group and talk about our feelings. That's just not what guys do.
Well, even in Shreveport, which is not a huge city, we've started at the Peace of Mind Center a drum circle for men. And I was shocked when I saw the list. It's like 10. It's like that man's packing the class.
Right.
So he's traveled to India. He's been all over, and so it's a drumming circle.
Yeah.
That men seem to resonate with.
I've actually looked at drum circles around here. I only know of one, maybe two, but it's very hard to find them to identify what dates they're going to be on. So it's I have to. Luckily, I am very much an investigator when it comes to searching things out. So if I really want to, I can find stuff. But as I has also told many people, I am self-proclaimed lazy. Stuart says men are more protective, had to keep up walls to be a fighter. True. Fabienne is asking, where's it at? Where's your Peace of Mind Center?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah. That's not where you are. Somewhere up here, Rosie made a comment, and she said, I can get in touch with my feminine side. Now, the funny part is I am probably more in touch with my feminine side than most people understand. Why? because I have 8 older sisters. That makes a huge difference when you have older sisters in your life. They teach you a lot of things that don't come by as common knowledge for a lot of men. So
they're intuitive.
I'm very good at complimenting haircuts, hairstyles, when your nails are done, how you dress, how I dress, paying attention to what I put together. So it's very interesting how well I am in touch with my feminine side compared to what a lot of people just see the furry one and just assume that I'm just a straight up meat eater, knuckle dragger. But it's true, and that's how a lot of people perceive me, and I'm okay with them perceiving me that way because that gives them a false sense of hope that they know who I am. And then they find out who I am, and they're like, "That's totally different." So,
is that intuitive side, which is the right brain, and then that logical side of the brain. And so women predominantly work from that right. I mean, I find they're emotional, they're more intuitive. So that would be right brain thinkers. And then men, the opposite. So very logical and linear thinking,
Yes. And it is, but I can flip if I need to. That's the good part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a skill, and not everybody has that ability.
Yeah, in fact, Nikki just sold me out right here online, but she says, I like to take Tom shopping with me. He puts colors and outfits together very well. I am very good about looking at you and telling you what color pattern you should be in when you're wearing clothes during which seasons it is. Yes, my sisters taught me very, very, very well. Crystal says drumming circles and vibration help heal. Absolutely.
Yes,
I was interested in going to drum. Well, I'm interested for drumming circles for a couple of reasons, but one of them is definitely just so I can feel the energy from it, because I will listen to it for meditation. A lot of the meditations I listen to are indigenous person drumming, chanting and stuff like that. So a lot of that is that's just my background that that I'm in tune with. So
I like that too. I actually have a past life memory from childhood of being a Native American woman and being at a drumming circle, and it was some sort of ceremony, and I was leaving. It was that, I guess I had aged out, and so I was leaving the tribe to go, be alone and die alone.
I'm sorry, I'm also reading notes while I'm doing this. Primal states that at some point in the near future, all the software will be obsolete. We are evolving past its capacity. That's true. Even in my job, I'm starting to see that, and I work for the government. But yeah, that's very true that we're starting to hit that limit of what we can hold, just in a software capacity or in that type of capacity. Joe says, "Yep, my journey is my own. Men don't like sharing their pain in their growth moments. Just wallow through it yourself and get lost or emerge victorious." True. A lot of people know that there's, so for those who want to know, or even if you don't, I'm going to share again. I started back with the PTSD therapist, but there is even stuff that she knows that she'll never get out of me, simply because of who I am and what I do. And it's just because I'm a male, and I don't still want to some of those emotions or those things I went through, I just don't want to share. So, and that's just how it is. But it seems like the women are more open to sharing if they feel it will help them. Guys, even if it will help us, we still like, nope, not doing it. Don't care, can't make me. Type of thing.
Been sort of programmed to hold on to that and keep it, suck it up, push through it. It's not always super conducive to like healing and moving through some tough energies that you carry.
Yeah. Rosie is on a roll with her squirrel moments tonight because she says, "Tom, you should get a gnome hat and be a gnome for Halloween. It would go good with your beard." It would, but I'm not doing the gnome thing. If anything, I'm just going to put the kilt back on, wear the war paint, and just go as a Viking. So that's more fitting of me.
I can see that working too.
Yeah, yeah, I did that. I kind of did that, but I was a very threatening Viking. Not that they're timid, but with a mask and a chainsaw at one point. So that
Oh
was it.
Lord.
Costume I put together. That worked very well. But yeah, she does self-proclaim that yes, her squirrels are out and running around. Yes, they are, Rosie. You are topping them all today. So, and then now I just set Primal up. Oh, kilts. So,
Oh, speaking of squirrels, I was at a class the other day at the Peace of Mind Center, and a friend brought to the class a baby flying squirrel that had fallen out of a tree. It was the cutest thing you ever saw. Cutest. And she had to feed it with a little dropper.
Oh yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my squirrel moment.
Squirrel moment. Whatever. What are lunar reflection subscription boxes?
So I have these boxes. I'm doing too much, Tom. So for the monthly sounds bad. For the monthly lunar cycles, you can purchase a box, you can subscribe, and you get a little box, and it has whatever the theme for the full moon is for that month. So if it's for let's see, let me think of a good one. We made some healing essential oils. We've done bath salts and the good bath salts with Epsom salt. I use Dead Sea salt, some essential oils, and it gives you instructions on how to mix it, but we're also blessing it. I make my own beeswax candles that I include. And so you get instructions, a little project to do. And I even give you instructions with my Spotify playlist so that you can listen to the special music that goes along with everything that, the whole project that you're doing for the lunar reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do journals as well.
Very cool. So at that moment when you started talking about it, stereotypical if you want it to be, I don't care. But all of a sudden, that's when I saw all the women, and including Stuart, grab their pens and go, "All right, now I need to know what her website is." So, like we were talking about the boxes for the, so that's when I started to go, "Oh, what's her site again?" So,
yeah. Shiftintopurpose.com.
Yep, it's all down below. It's scrolling the
I do a lot of stuff, but basically it's really just about helping people to find and to move towards fulfilling their purpose in this lifetime.
See, Rosie said, "Yes, I did." See, I knew it. Called it. You mentioned you do a lot. Fantastic. And I know you do because I follow you. But I have to ask because out of everything you do you have a favorite that you like to do? Is there one thing that just resonates above everything else that you're just like, I really love doing this? I do all this other stuff. I love it all, but this is the one I really thrive on people coming in for or helping or anything else.
Yeah, I will say the Archangel Healing sessions, the IET or integrated energy therapy sessions, is probably the highest vibrational thing that I do. And it's very meaningful to people because they're just laying there, but the angels channel through me and are bringing up topics for them to reflect on as I'm pulling energies out of their aura. And after the whole session, they're just like, oh my gosh, this is stuff, I had forgotten about decades ago. And they're like, I feel so much lighter. And they have a new perspective. They leave changed. and I hear things from, I was the mouthiest person. My mouth was getting me in trouble all the time. Like, to now, I know when I can use that wisdom and discern when to say and when not to say. So there's just a whole lot of different transformations. And the other thing I like about it is just, channeling the angels. When I walk out of there, I don't feel like I'm walking at all. I feel like I'm floating.
Yeah.
So it gets me in a really high vibe state. And so I feel fantastic. The client feels fantastic. And yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask as well, as far as when it's working with the angels, because Nikki and I have a friend of ours, and she does angelic tuning as well as some other things. And I went to one of her. I went to her at one point. The only time I've gone to her. The first time I went to her, Nikki goes to her repeatedly, but I went to her once, and I was sitting there, and I tapped in. And I said, "Hey," I go, "There's two things that are here with you," and she goes, "Yeah, what are they?" And I told her, I go, "These are not normal spirits. These are angelic." And she goes, "That's very interesting." She goes, "You're the first person who's ever tapped into the fact that I have two angels here helping me do this." Like, yeah, I go, "I know who they are. I know which ones they are, and I can see where they are." And she's like, "Where are they?" And I pointed at them, and she was like, "That's pretty good." She goes, "I've never had anyone sense my angels when I'm doing the work, and I've never been able to identify which ones they are or where they are." So she was like, "That's..." You typed into them pretty fast. That was pretty good. So I was like, "Oh, what do you know?"
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Rosie's asking, do you do anything with crystals?
No, I really don't do much work with crystals. I haven't needed to. I mean, as far as my services go, but I'll always have my crystal pendulum with me. And I do crystal grids for my house. So I have like tons. I wear crystals, and this is smoky quartz, and yeah.
Yeah.
I'm crystalled out for sure. But no, I don't use them for healing or anything like that. But I can test crystals. So that's a really fascinating part of the energy chakra readings that I do. I can have a client hold a crystal, and it will show me what it does for their energy.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, and sometimes even the crystals, like this one here, my is clear crystal and moss agate. Some days it's like really good for my energy. If I'm like really anxious or stressed out, it's really good and calming.
Yeah.
But if I'm already kind of like tired and run down, if I put this on, I'm going to be out.
Yeah.
It's going to knock me out. And so if I've got stuff to do, I probably don't want to wear this.
I don't want to wear that one. Yeah. And I do the charging of crystals. Like if it's charged, I can hold it with the intent to charge it back up to what it needs to be doing. And I'm actually a charging of crystals. So it's, we've had to do that a handful of times. We've been on investigations or we've been out places and someone's like, "Hey, I need this golden healer recharged because I've sucked all the energy out of it. Can you recharge it?" And I can hold it and I can recharge it for him, hand it back to him. And it's just vibrating with energy and like, "Geez, what did you just do?" And so, so that's my crystal. And I have a lot of crystals myself. I mean, I'm even sitting here with a big old piece of
selenite.
And I'm also sitting here with a very dark black amethyst as well. So I have them all over the place too. But I don't use them for my protection or for anything else. If I put on something, it's because I like it. But most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to put it on because I'm about to give it to somebody. And I don't wear them. Nothing. But when I put them on, it's almost like I know that I'm going to need it later that day because someone else is going to need it. So else, it's almost like a sixth sense that I'm going to run across someone, they're going to ask for something. And my crystals is going to be what they end up with. And I have a tendency too that if I wear them and someone will be like, I'm drained, I need this, whatever else, and they don't want a hug from me because I can, I can energize them with a hug. But if I give them my crystals and they're like, this is amazing, then normally I end up giving that away. That gift has just been given to them, and I teach them how to recharge it and how to use it for themselves.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
So yeah, it's kind of something that I've developed over, kind of accidentally developed over time, and it just is happened right away on investigations, and I've had it ever since. So it's been kind of nice. Rosie
Yeah.
wants to know, have you ever had anyone with a dark aura, and how hard was it to heal them?
Well, yeah. So when people come in with a lot of dark energy, sometimes we have to work in a couple of sessions, you know. But I have seen, even with people who haven't had like a super dark energy, I've seen dark orbs flying out. I do see orbs in sessions quite frequently. But people who have dark energy, yeah. Um I sense the energy, and sometimes I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I invite it to the door, and sometimes I get a little, the first reaction is like, "Oh man, am I
Yeah.
okay?" And then the angels are like, "We got you. We're right here." And I can actually see a couple of the angels. Some of them I just just sense them, or sometimes I can even smell them, which sounds like a little
Mm-hmm.
bonkers, but um and yeah, so they're present there, so I really don't worry about it, and I clear until the angels tell me, it's time to move on to the next
Yeah.
energy center, because these energies are like, they're locked in to your body's, like your body's cellular memory. It's
Mm.
in the DNA even. And some of this stuff is karmic stuff that they've had to work through. And sometimes maybe it's not for me to just take that energy away. It may be something that the client still needs to experience. It's part of their lesson, their journey in
Yeah.
life is to learn from those experiences. So, it may not be appropriate to clear everything all the time.
Yeah.
So I just work until the angels say, okay,
Good.
let's go to the
Yeah.
next.
Yeah. You're good. Yeah, and I put up there that Crystal said, yeah, she ends up giving a lot of the crystals away too. I do the same thing. Crystal is asking you a question, I believe. And she says, my daughter is a level 1 Reiki master. She's going for 3 masters. After her Reiki cleanse, she's really nauseous and has a headache. Usually it takes 2 days to feel better. Is there something she can do to help feel better faster?
Uh, Angel healing session.
Um,
Yeah, I call that a Reiki hangover.
yeah.
So, and I don't, yeah, that's one of the things that I was so amazed with, the gentleness of the angelic healings. It's like feather soft. It's not a it's, to me, a Reiki session is like a reverberating, I don't know how to describe this. I don't know how to use it in people terms, but there's like this echoey, kind of like when you go to a concert and after you leave the concert and there's this reverberating sound.
Yep.
That's what I get after a Reiki session. This reverberation
Yeah.
that I feel, and I think that is what causes that Reiki hangover. Um, so I would just say to your daughter to just use the Reiki for healing, like self-healing. Just, I would be diligent about it. Um, Continue to do it every time there's, some ache or nausea, to focus on those particular chakras and healing for those. That can
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. Crystal, if you also want, contact me after the show. And I have a hoodoo witch. So she does herbal cleansings and stuff like that. And she will most likely put together something for your daughter that she can use in the bath to help cleanse and help do some of that stuff too. She's very good at doing that. Her name is Beverly Smith. She's out of California. She's been on my show before, but she's really good as well. She may be able to help with that. So if that's something that your daughter's open to, that may be something I can put you in contact with her as well. Rosie's asking me, have I ever had a crystal that made me feel weird? No. In the beginning, I thought that I needed crystals for protection or for whatever and everything else. And then I realized I did not. It was just me. So I really don't need crystals for protection or for anything else for myself. I really just hand them off to others to help them because I don't want to say it's a crutch, but for some people they work. And I have this argument a lot because I have this argument on a religious side of the house because people are saying that, well, you're talking paganism and all these different things. And I'm like, no, I am actually a Pentecostal Christian, but I also have the firm belief that I don't care what you call it, creator, one, source, God, whatever you call it, there is a reason that all of these items were put into the ground for us to use. We just had to learn what they were. And if we are learning how to use them for the proper reasoning they were put there, then that just makes us more open to receiving that message and getting that information from those crystals that are allowing the help that we're looking for. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's a totally different way to look at it than I would have thought you would say. But that's a lot of beliefs I have, is that whatever you believe in on this earth, they put this here for our use. It's not just they're pretty.
It's like mint or chamomile. Those are herbs that were put here as well.
Nature, yeah. All the plants and stuff like that you can use. Barks I've used for salve and everything else, for healing and stuff like that. It's amazing, but people get closed-minded and they don't understand that. But as far as the crystals go, I've never had one make me feel weird, but I do know that they work for others. I think I am just, I don't want to say, I don't believe myself to be invincible, but I believe myself to be my best form of what I can use rather than use something from an outside source. That helps explain that.
I like to use them for like communication. If I'm having to give like a presentation or something, I would wear my lapis lazuli ring, or
right, because it helps.
So I treat them like charms, I guess.
Yeah, because some of them do help you open up for what you're trying to do: communication, focus, rest. I say I don't use them, but I swear to God, sitting right by my bed is the white howlite, the rose quartz, the purple amethyst. So there's a handful of them that are designed to help rest. And to help the area be calm. And
they give out energy, right, just like our bodies. They give out energy that they do affect our environment.
Right.
So, yeah.
Hi, Mo. So Mo is popping in and saying, I was grounding in the sand and I had a pea-sized black ring with a white center eye floater that wouldn't go away for several minutes. First time I've ever seen something like this. Any ideas?
There are all kinds of downloads happening. I was telling Tom earlier that I've had these gold, it's like glitter, just coming at me. If I just kind of soften my gaze and just stare off, I can see like these little gold sparkles coming at me, and they're not just like flying at me. They're sometimes zipping around, and they're not floaters. I know what a floater is.
Yeah. So, it could have been something like that, Mo. You could have been receiving something and just focused on it in a different way, and maybe it was just a message trying to get through to you, or download trying to get to you. So
Yeah.
something that you were supposed to be receiving, and maybe if you didn't get it the first time, maybe it'll attempt to come back to you, and you'll see it in a different way. So
Yeah, I think our energy, our DNA, everything is being upgraded right now. And so all of that light is information, it's consciousness, it's the way that the universe communicates to us. And it's time for everything to start with this whole awakening process. It's time for everything to start upgrading and, shifting into higher vibration. So it's going to take some,
it's
it's going
gonna
to
take.
take some information flowing in.
Yeah, you may be right, Mo. It could be the solar flare. Maybe you missed a message with all the solar flares coming through right now. So yeah. So back on the crystal thing, it's interesting. Crystals on the crystal said first tiger eye, blue tiger eye, and blue tiger eye. Whenever she wears them, she has a negative experience. Which is interesting.
It may be bad for your energy, like I was talking about. So this moss agate affects my energy and brings me down, calms me down. It could be that that doesn't work well with your energy, your chakras.
Yeah. So at least you recognize it, though. There's some people that will try to force something to work for them, and it will just fight back, and that's never good.
Yeah, and so you can experiment with it. Like when you're in a different mood, sometime try it then and see, what experience you have. It could just be, a particular mood or a particular energy that you have in a particular day that you happen to be wearing it. So you can always experiment.
Yeah. Stuart says third century Pope Constantine made sure all the earth stuff was left out of the Bible and the church so they could control the people. People had to go to church to be helped. Yep.
Very and so true. we could be told that, crystals and herbs, all those things are, evil or
work in a negative way or should not be. Yeah. So
if we can heal ourselves, we don't need them, right?
Yeah, I know I'm about to get in trouble with Stuart really quick, but it's good that you lived through that time, that you recognized during that time when he was telling you that face to face, that you didn't listen to him. So now I'm going to get back from Stuart about how he's old and everything else. Kathy's asking, does the size of the crystal matter? Is the bigger the stronger? Not necessarily.
No.
There's some. You saw me pick up these huge pieces I have here, but I have very small, tiny ones that I can put into a packet and put in my pocket and carry. And again, I don't use it for myself, but I know at some point I'm going to come across somebody. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, a whole bag full of them right here. But I know at some point I'm going to take one of them out, be walking down, and someone's going to ask for something. I'm like, here, hold this for 10 minutes. Tell me how you feel in 10 minutes. And it's going to be, it'll be fantastic for them. It doesn't need to be them carrying around this big old chunk of selenite stick in their pocket, so it just, I don't want to say size matters for this one. It doesn't mean the bigger, the stronger. It just simply the intent you have behind it.
I've seen people take beads from like a bracelet and grid their entire yard.
Yeah.
With the tiniest beads. It's all in the intention that you program the bead with or the crystal with. And it can protect, it can do whatever. I would say, property 30 feet out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here right now because to make sure our internet doesn't break, because I think Holly and I broke it last time. I have a tendency to break the internet with people when I'm on because the vibrations match and we end up breaking the internet. But I sit here with a little block right now just to make sure it helps with the EMFs and everything else. So since you're right at the very front of my right in front of my screen now, and it seems to work relatively well with everybody except for maybe one or two people who we have a tendency to break it no matter how much sugar we would put around us. So it seems to happen that way. Well, I think we're kind of at a good point. We're about an hour, 10 minutes into it. So
Okay.
kind of flew right by.
I know it did.
It
So
did, yeah. I looked up and like, wow, already an hour? That was fast. So Nikki's saying the size does not matter, but different shapes do different things.
true. Good point.
Yep. Yeah, and that's something you'll want to research before you purchase, just to make sure you're purchasing the right thing. The organite pyramids are different than what the round, like maybe thumb stones or worry stones would do and stuff like that. That's what you can identify kind of what your intention is for that, and some of the shapes will be identified for you and what it's going to be used for, the best shape to use for your intention. Stuart says, Holly, my wife and I will try to come see you in Shreveport.
Awesome.
So yeah, like I said, they're right down the road, so why not? But
I won't be there this weekend. I'm leaving to go out of town. It's fall break. Yay.
Call first, Stuart. Call first. Send her a text. Send her an email. But thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So everybody remember that we talked quite a bit about a lot. But and this is simply because me, if you do want to have something like a Starseed reading done from Holly, again, it was absolutely amazing. And it was something that I still like go back and look at even now. And it's been a year and a half since she did it for me, but I still go back and look at it and read. Especially if I have questions about something, I'll go back and look at it, read, and go, okay, yeah, that makes sense now, stuff like that. So
everybody tells me that too. It's so wonderful.
Something I go back to and read because it kind of like I need the affirmation. Is this right? Is this something I should be doing right now, or something I should be going through right now, or just part of my life here on Earth that should be expected at this point? And a lot of times I'm like, yep, it should. It is. So everyone's saying thank you. It was a great show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So before you go, everybody down here, remember all of her information is down here. If you go out to facebook.com, I didn't put up the actual Facebook link because if you type in Shift Into Purpose, that pops up the facebook.com/J9384769, blah, 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 blah. But if you just simply type into Shift Into Purpose, she's the first and only thing that pops up that under Shift Into Purpose on Facebook. Or you can do what, you can also just go straight into her shiftintopurpose.com and it takes you straight to her webpage. Both of them will get you the information you're looking for. But it's very informative. Both of them are very, very informative as far as what you're looking for. And if you, for some reason, forget shiftintopurpose.com, but you remember Shift Into Purpose on Facebook and you type that in, it has a link to her sites as well. So you can actually click on those on the Facebook site as well. So you'll be able to get there. Do me a favor, don't run away. I'm going to put you backstage so I can close the show down, and I will come back and talk to you in a bit.
Okay.
Oh, I lied. We have one more question.
Okay.
I'm going to. Zhang asked the question, so I'm going to throw this one out there. Zhang is asking, can bad energy influence someone's seizure recurring, and coincidentally, they have that disease?
Very possible. It could just be not necessarily that it's bad energy. It just could be part of the karmic energy, or it could just be part of the DNA. I should say. And
Zhang, that's what I pick up with him because I know who you're talking about. That's what I pick up with him is that this is not a bad energy. It's just his energy. It's just part of his energy. Zhang, if she's still on here and I'm still on here, you can ask a question. She said, I'm sorry I was late to ask my question. We're still on here. We can answer questions. But I know who you're talking about. I felt it before with him. And I hope you're okay with me saying this, Zhang, but you typed it in. If he opens up and allows himself to understand that he has those abilities because he doesn't allow it, just like someone else, like you didn't. If he allows it, it may possibly stop his seizures from happening. I actually think it's him holding back that is causing those seizures to happen. I'm not 100% sure in that, but I'm comfortable enough to say that if he allows it to come through and he opens up with it, they will either completely stop or they will very much slow down. I think that's his energy stopping him from. I think it's his energy making him have those seizures.
Yeah, and I'm always also picking up that there's like a lesson in that, in the whole, and it may not just be even the seizures being a lesson that he's experiencing. It could be that whatever he's going through is a lesson for those around him to learn and experience through as well.
Yeah. So hopefully that helped the Jane. I know you understand what I'm talking about, so that's good. I hate being cryptic, but I don't want to share all the information.
Yeah.
So but I know she knows what I'm talking about. And I know she understands what you talked about too. So that's good. So, okay. So with that said, now I'm going to go ahead and close the show down. So thank you for coming on and answering the last question as well. Yes. I always love having you on because you're just so knowledgeable and I love the information you share. Because there's I know a lot of people we focus sometimes, like a lot of my guests focus on one topic, but we have different topics that we can talk about with you and you're knowledgeable in them. So I like the fact that we can do that. So I appreciate you coming on. If anyone has anything for Holly and you just don't want to go to her, reach out and ask, contact me. I'll reach out to Holly and I'll ask it for you. That's not a problem, but you can contact Holly directly. She's a very nice woman, so you can go out and contact her directly as well. Like I said, I'll throw you backstage, and I'll be with you in a second. So thank you for coming, and I will see you in a second.
Bye.
All right, everyone, that's the show as normal. Here's all my stuff rolling on the bottom. If you want to take a look at it, feel free. Pulling my phone up. I got to see who I have on next. I don't even think I have a show next week. I think I'm off for a week, and then I come back again. Let me look. Stand by. I know. Last minute. I'm terrible at this game. Nope. Holly was here, and then I have a week off, and then I have another show back on 21 October. And it is a local guest that I have not had on before, but I met her at one of the local areas here in either Mystic Fest or Holistic Fest. But she will, she's going to come on, and she's a fantastic, wonderful woman that I met, and I'm kind of excited to have her on here because I only got to talk to her briefly, but I was excited in the brief time I talked to her. So remember, no show on the 14th. There will be one on the 21st. But that does not mean you can't reach out to me and contact me anyways. I am more than happy to answer emails, texts, messages, whatever you want to do. I'm open for that. If you have questions like you're asking here in the chat, reach out and ask questions. I will answer the best of my ability. And the best thing is, if I cannot answer your question, I have a plethora of people that I get to reach out to with their knowledge base and their skill set that I can ask those questions to. And they are more than happy to help. So feel free to do that if you need to. Everyone else, I see everyone saying good night, good show. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Thank you again for showing. Like, follow, share, as I always say, because I love growing this community because you all are my family, and I appreciate you all being here. Stay safe for the next 2 weeks. If you have any questions, send them to me. Other than that, stay safe. Much love. I will talk to you later.